morning, good afternoon, good evening. 1,000 farmers received their title deeds to the farms at a ceremony today in Mazowe. This is supposed to be a happy occasion. What is so disappointing about it is that the land issue was one of the burning issues in the nation's fight for independence. The white colonial settlers came into the country and they became the rulers. And they decided where the local blacks could stay, could live. For those of you who are not familiar with Zimbabwe's geography, Zimbabwe has got about 4 agricultural regions. Region 1 has got very good rainfall and is very good for crop production. Region 2 has got good soil, good rainfall, but not as good as Region 1. But it's also good for farming and animal husbandry. Region 3 is marginal, maybe farming, animal farming, keeping animals. Region 4 and 5, the soil is very poor, the rainfall is very poor, and the climate is quite hot as well. The white farmers, the white settlers, when they arrived in the country, they moved blacks from region 1 and 2 and resettled them in region 4 and 5. Those were called the tribal trustlands. To make matters worse, the white farmers were given title deeds to the farms. Indeed, most of those white farmers were enticed to settle in Zimbabwe by being offered vast tracts of land and given title deeds. The blacks who were in those areas, they were moved to region 4 and 5, to the poor rainfall, poor soil, etc. So you can understand why the blacks were really bitter. And to make matters worse, in those tribal trustlands, the blacks could not own the land, even 1 acre of land. One of the white economists, John Robertson, did a paper on it and gave it to Smith and argued that the blacks should be given title deeds, even those in the tribal trustlands, because that will give them the confidence to look after that 1 acre or whatever, the confidence to build a decent homestead. They could get a loan from the bank. They've got title deeds. That's some collateral security. Ian Smith stubbornly refused to give the blacks title deeds. His argument, if you give the blacks title deeds, you're economically empowering them. And the next thing they will be asking for is political rights. So Ian Smith refused to give the blacks title deeds, even those in the rural areas with the poor soil, title deeds for selfish political reasons. So you can understand the bitterness of the blacks, why the land issue was so important. So when the country gained its independence, blacks expected that the land issue would be dealt with. And here we are, 45 years after independence, a few farmers are being given title deeds. And we are supposed to be singing and celebrating, big song and dance about it. How ironic. The millions, the overwhelming majority of our people in the rural areas are still being denied the right to own even 1 acre of land by the same regime. Of course, the chefs had no problem owning the land. Here is Mnangagwa himself in one of the farms that he owns. A vast stretch of land. You can see it stretching to the horizon. And some of them, they don't just own one farm. They own multiple farms. Indeed, Mnangagwa himself, on his farm, this is the land where he grows crops. He's got another one where he keeps animals, cattle. He's got a special breed, specially imported for the purpose. And he has title deeds, of course. And yet he's stubbornly refusing to give title deeds to even 1 acre of land to the overwhelming majority of the blacks. The reason for that has been very simple: political reasons. And it's not that it's a secret, it's not. Here is Margaret Dongo, one of the SANU-PF MPs and a freedom fighter in her own right, speaking to that issue of why the majority in the rural areas particularly are being kept poor by SANU-PF.
They have wrong priorities, especially the current government. How can you go and build an airport which services a few people, and the majority are the elite and the so-called investors? Look at the rural. I made you come to interview me because I wanted you to have the experience of the roads that we are using. If we go today to our hospital there, you feel pity with that's a hospital in a rural area. If we go to our clinic, you feel pity. We have no piped water here. Do you know the reason why the rural people vote for ZANU-PF? 1, they're intimidated. 2, the policy is that the rural people should remain poor and subservient to the government. They should remain poor, because if they remain poor, they continue singing the song for their master. This is why these people have been impoverished. It's for a reason. Because at the moment, if you economically empower these people, they'll go out of hand. ZANU-PF will never have control over them.
In short, the millions of ordinary people in the rural areas will have to wait. God knows how long they will have to wait before they will be allowed to own even 1 acre of land. The regime is deliberately keeping them economically impoverished for political reasons. When I first read the book Animal Farm by George Orwell, and here is a quotation from the same book, where he talks of the hens claiming that I've laid 5 eggs in 6 days, thanks to Comrade Napoleon. I didn't believe it at times. I thought, well, okay, he's exaggerating some of these things for dramatic effect. And never thought it would happen in real life. I'm disappointed to say this is exactly what is happening in Zimbabwe today. We are having this big song and dance that Mnangagwa has given title deeds to 1,000 farmers. They've waited 45 years to get those title deeds. And it's only a drop in the ocean. The millions of ordinary Zimbabweans who were hoping to be moved to better land, but have not been moved. They are still stuck in the region 4 and 5 with the poor land, poor rainfall, and overcrowded. But even then, even there, they're still being refused to own even 1 acre of land. And we give a few farmers, most of them connected to the ZANU-PF regime, title deeds, and we make a big song and dance about it. That is truly tragic. The ordinary people in the rural areas, if they want their right to own property, their right to a meaningful vote, and even the right to life itself, they have to fight for these rights from scratch. Tragic, isn't it? We thought we'd secured these rights, these freedoms, only to find that we're being denied by the very men and women whom we thought were our liberators. At least they spearheaded the fight for independence. They carried the guns. The ordinary person supported them and did their bit. But when the independence was attained, they were forgotten. And now they've got to fight for the same rights and human dignity from scratch. 45 years after independence, and we have to celebrate that 1,000 farmers have title deeds. How tragic. Thank you. Have a good evening.